it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm filming in my actual bedroom this time, in the process of taking care of the guest room as far as cleaning it up and stuff. So my bedroom is clean, and this is the barest spot I have right now to film. So sorry if the lighting is not quite good. I actually can't set up my ring light where I'm sitting because there's no near outlet, if that makes sense. But anyways, I thought I would do today's video on my favorite type 1 diabetes apps that I personally use and some other ones that I've heard of that I heard were really good. And always feel free to share what types of diabetes apps that you use down below, because I like to hear different people's opinions on different things, and I like to kind of hear what you use that you think best manages your type 1 diabetes. So first of all, before I delve into the apps, I will say that most meters, like the contour meters and the one-touch variometers, have their own apps. I did use those back when I was on multiple daily injections. They were very, very helpful to sync your blood sugar readings from your meter so that the meter wouldn't get clogged up. It's a good way to track everything and make sure everything's imported into one source that your endocrinologist can use. Because after a while, those meters can only hold so much memory as far as like a blood sugar history. So those apps are super helpful. Then you can also add, hey, how much carbs did I take? How much insulin did I take? Did I do any exercise? And what's cool is most of those apps will color code your blood sugars based upon if they're in and out of range, and make little graphs and trend lines for you. It's very helpful for those of you that just use finger sticks. And like I said, I love the One Touch Vario app. When I had the variometer that I used regularly, it was great. It would light up anything. Red would be high, blue would be low, green would be in range, and you can set your targets for different things. But anyways, I will share with you my other apps that I use. I will do a screen recording and just share with you what I do use. So I don't really use a ton of different apps. Now, like I said, there's a variety out there, but most of mine are pretty basic. The first one I absolutely love is Calorie King, and what I love about Calorie King is you can open it up and you can Google anything like you want. Like right now we have a lot of Macintosh apples in our house, so if I hit search and then you click on it, you can actually adjust your portion. So I actually measure all my stuff out. So typically when I take half a Macintosh apple, it usually weighs about 2.25 ounces, and you can tell, and you can mark it as ounce, and it'll tell you it's about 9.1 grams of carbohydrate with 2.1 grams of fiber. So in essence, it's about 8 grams of carbohydrate that I need to account for to eat this apple, which for me would be 0.8 units of insulin. Everybody's is going to be different, but I absolutely love Calorie King. Well then, that was interesting. This is the free version. If you do buy the full version, you're not going to get ads that interrupt you. But that is Calorie King for you. And the other apps that I really like are Clarity and Dexcom. Obviously, having the Dexcom app is great if you use the Dexcom G6. And, ooh, there we go. We finally got it to work again. I was a little bit high earlier, but honestly now I'm down, which is good. I love using the Dexcom app regularly, and the Clarity app is super duper helpful for linking all your blood sugar data right to everything on your phone, and you can open it up and look at your trends and stuff. Another app that I really liked is Diabetes Recipes, and I believe it is from Diabetes in the United Kingdom, because I looked at a lot of these recipes and I don't recognize some of the foods that regularly eaten over in the United Kingdom, but I do like some of these recipes. There's anything from breakfast to lunches to dinners, you name it. But if this app would load, we could kind of look at that a little bit. But there's some really interesting recipes I'd really like to try. Glucose, another top favorite of mine. Glucose actually what kind of allows my Omnipod data to sync and be downloaded and different things like that. That is where I sync my Dash PDM up to, and Glucose can actually be hooked in with your Dexcom Clarity data, which is what I absolutely love to use. So it says I've been a while since it syncs, so I guess I'm going to let it sync a little bit. And you can add new devices. But anyways, you can kind of see where your averages have been for the past, week or whatever the case may be. Now, keep in mind, 57% in range. I keep a very tight range. But over a month, it can show you everything over 3 months, stuff like that. So, and it kind of shows you how much insulin you eat a day, how many highs you have, how many lows. Again, my range is extremely tight, so it looks kind of bad. But if you're looking at as far as ADA standards of 70 to 180, I'm about 80-ish% of time in range. So, this 51% comes from me being between 70 and 140. which is a very tight range to keep. Omnipod Display is an app I'm going to talk about in the future, but it basically allows you to have your Omnipod-PDM sync right to your phone so that you can compare it to a Dexcom widget. And at any point you can see like, oh, how many units of insulin do I have on board? What's my PDM battery like? When was my last bolus? What's my current basal rate? What time is it? When does my pod expire? It's just a little widget that you can have on your phone. I will talk about more of that later, but I do use the Omnipod Display app. Podder Central is another great app. Download it. It's just the easiest way to access all your information for ordering new Omnipods. And Sugarmate is another one that takes all your Dexcom data. And again, I like Sugarmate for certain things. It's really nice. I think it's better accuracy as far as getting an average blood sugar and predicting an A1C. I don't use the GMI to predict an A1C. It's always way falsely high for me. The average blood sugar is about 8 points higher than what I actually am. So my average blood sugar right now is like 135-ish, 132-ish, which should put me at a low 6 A1C. I do tend to notice that as Dexcom sites get older for me and my Dexcom data, it reads me falsely higher than I actually am for actually a lot of my testing. I mean, not all the time, but the older my sensors get, the more falsely high it reads me. So just another great way to see different trends and to figure out kind of what your predicted A1C value will be. So those are all the apps that I actually use to help me manage with type 1 diabetes and stuff like that. But I'm actually going to open up a website and just share with you some other different apps that people use. I know people use stuff like Diabetics. There's a Glucose Buddy diabetes tracker. There's a Health to Sync. There is My Sugar Diabetes Log. I have heard of My Sugar. I heard they're super good. And I believe you can get a My Sugar bundle where you can actually order test strips if like your insurance doesn't cover them well, or it'll interpret your data and say, okay, she uses X amount of test strips for this amount a month, and no matter what, like it'll reorder in time for you to have enough test strips. It goes based upon what you use, because everybody is going to use different amounts of test strips in a day, and insurances like to dictate how many times a day you can test. I know when I was on Vigor Sticks regularly, I think it was like 4 or 5 times a day I could test. So they would only allot me like 9 packs of test strips. So what if one day you were, really up and down, or you weren't sure of different things, especially when you're on finger sticks. That's the only way you know what your blood sugar is to test. But the My Sugar bundle and the My Sugar app are a great way to track your blood sugars and get test strips conveniently when you need them. Glucose comparison is another one. BG Monitor, Glucosio Diabetes Tracker, and I know there's One Drop as an older app, and that again is another blood sugar meter. I believe they send you different strips in the mail as a subscription based upon what you need. Glucose Whiz is another one. There's a variety of different apps out there, and there's a variety of different resources that are super good for figuring out carb count. My favorite is Calorie King because it pretty much has everything from fast food joints all the way through actual food items that you can weigh and measure. And actually the My Calorie King, there's like a My Calorie King library in the Omnipod, so which is super nice that if I don't have my phone with me or I'm looking on my pump to add different things and save different foods, I can actually keep that right in here, which is super convenient. So I use Calorie King probably the most out of all those apps beyond like the Dexcom and the Omnipod stuff. I absolutely thrive on Calorie King as far as carb counting, and it has been super accurate. And even for fast food joints, it is super duper accurate. So you don't have to Google like McDonald's nutrition value. You can actually look up, hey, go to Calorie King, hit fast food joint, go to McDonald's, go through the list. Oh, you want a thing of chicken McNuggets. Click open and it'll say, oh, 27 carbs. You can tell I've only had those a few too many times to have them memorized. And after a while, you'll get accustomed to memorizing different foods that work for you. But anyways, I wanted to share the different apps that I use and some other ones out there. And again, if you have any other apps that you use that are absolutely phenomenal, leave them down below. I may just want to check them out for my own resources. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. I post videos every single week about diabetes plus more. Stay tuned. I've got really good videos coming up for you guys. I'm going to do something a little more inspirational. In addition to talking a little bit more about dental hygiene school and college tips, because I want to share other things that I've learned beyond just living a type 1 diabetic life. I'm expanding my channel in different ways. I'm going to show you guys some artwork. I'm going to show you guys how I organize for school. Maybe I'll even show you my bedroom when I feel comfortable sharing that. But anyways, until next time for another video, take care. God bless. Be kind, spread positivity, and be thankful. Bye.